Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's check in with the major US indices. So at the end of the week here, not a whole lot has changed since the last video as far as the outlook. Although there are some conflicting signals that I'll get to. So we still have the low in place from the last video. And on SPX that's 2743.19. Now we've had an initial move up, although not really breaking any resistance levels. And then we had a fairly sharp move down, although not breaking the low. And now we've just kind of had another choppy move up down. So this wave 4 interpretation will hold as long as this price level holds. But if we go and break this low and certainly overlap with this level, then whatever this is still looks corrective to me here. Will be just some sort of a larger correction, as discussed in the last video, perhaps a wave 2 of a developing 1-2-1-2 sequence. Because we have this larger 1-2 up, this could be a smaller degree 1-2, and then have an extended third after that. So at this point, still unknown. Really am still favoring a bullish outcome based on this chart, although there is still some things conflicting with that signal. And let's just go to the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ already put in its big triangle there, and now we've had a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and within 5 you can count 5 within 5. So it looks like a very, very mature impulse wave up after this triangle, and triangles always precede the final move in an impulse sequence. So, but this is always still possible that this is just a larger one, okay? Then have a big 2, and then keep going in this larger degree fifth wave. But right now it looks quite toppy. It's possible that we have a major top at hand, although it has to really prove itself to the downside before you could consider that. And right now, okay, so on the daily we've lost the T line and we're starting to roll over. And we're starting to get this MACD bear cross up here. We were quite overbought on RSI, and now we're coming off of that. So certainly some downside potential here. But at this point, it's only potential. It has to, we got to at least break this initial support level here at 76.35 on the composite. If we can't do that, then this isn't a very significant top, is it? Okay, so head back to the candlestick chart now. And on SPX, notably, we are below the T line and the 3T line. And also the 3T lines cross below the T line. So it looks a little weak here, although not breaking any significant support levels that we formed here in the last couple days. And stochastics, well, it looks like they have a little more room to head down before they're oversold, but nothing to say they will get oversold. And right now we're actually just kind of sitting on this 20-day simple moving average, so perhaps that'll be a supporting factor. We shall see. But really no clear trade other than like all I've been doing with this is just day trading the S&P, just intraday, real small moves. I haven't been taking any big position trades because it's just not that clear yet. Now the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So the Dow was down 8 days in a row, I believe, which is certainly significant weakness compared to the other indices. But then we're in this oversold territory now on my oscillator, and the Dow was the only index of these three that was actually up today, although it's closed below the 3T line and obviously well below the T line. We haven't seen the T line for a while in the Dow, and we have this large upper wick, upper shadow of selling. So certainly not a strong day, despite being up about 0.5%. But it does look a little extended to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised to see some, even if this is going to continue lower, wouldn't be surprised to see some short-term bounce here, at least up to this T line. And again, we haven't actually taken out either of these prior support levels. Although we've lost this 50-day moving average, which was acting as some support back here. So maybe we're heading for that 200 again for another test. That would start to get more bearish if we got below that 200 and closed below it. We'll see though. If you see over here, that 200, you know, we bounced off that twice. Never closed below it, so that would be notable to close below it. Now on the NASDAQ, it's interesting because on the S&P, you know, I'm still favoring bullishness, but it's almost difficult to reconcile that with this. So NASDAQ, as I showed you in the other chart, you can easily count a mature 5 up off of our corrective wave 4. So you have a potential top in place, and then look what you had. You had a bearish engulfing candlestick, okay, closed below the T-line, and then today, confirmation, okay, you open a little higher than that close, but not even halfway up this candle, and then weakened, okay, closed lower on the day and closed below the T-line, and the 3 T-line is on the precipice of crossing below the T-line. And you know, we were overbought on the oscillator, and now we're coming down, so plenty of room to run before you get into oversold, for instance. But the NASDAQ, again, has to break this initial support level to start getting excited about any kind of real potential. And I am still eyeing up those QQQ puts, but I haven't bought them yet. And that's just because it's not that clear. So if this was just, you know, a standalone, and I wasn't looking at the S&P, I'd say, oh, looks like a great, at least, you know, short-term sell, if not something bigger. But when you look at the S&P, it's kind of sending a different message. So mixed signals here. That's why I don't want to take any big positions. Just day trading for now. So that's kind of where we're at with the NASDAQ. You know, almost comical that the NASDAQ was down today and the Dow was up. That's reversed the trend we've been in, certainly, even if it is just for a day. Okay, so the volatility index, VIX. Now VIX also painting a more bullish picture because there's no significant development as far as volatility exploding to the upside. So that's still also, you know, contributing to my bullish bias on the S&P there. So hopefully next week we get some sort of clarity. I mean, on the S&P, you want to at least start taking out initial resistance here, which comes in at you know, 2774.86, and certainly get back above the T line before you start entertaining that, okay, we've got our pullback and we're heading up in another wave up. So still patiently watching. All right, Serial Trader signing off.